Welcome back. Well, we've taken a cup of tea and tried to calm down. Now it's time for the 10-lap semi-finals. 2 of them there will be, of course. And out comes semi-final number 1. And we've got quite a good line-up here again as we see the route that these men are going to find their way through to the final, they hope.
Well, it's pretty obvious, really, isn't it, Keith? From a semi-final, you might go to a final if you get in the first 7.
Well, it's certainly pretty obvious after we've seen that graphic several times over. So they're going to line up like this. Ron Lachine, Donny Schmidt, Steve Lamson. Well, we've seen him going quite good at the moment. Pedro Tractor, Bada Mena, Jan Guidard. Seen him go pretty quick too. Larry Ward and Eric Kehoe, the man who landed rather hard earlier on. Rob Herring, Christian Chamard, Denny Stevenson, Bruno Villard, Darrell Atkins, Olivier Lambert and Gregory Rio are your starters for the first of our semi-finals. You're looking at number 3, Donny Schmidt, a very, very exciting rider indeed, and I can't wait to see how he manages to get himself through in this semi. 5 seconds to the start.
The answer is probably not very comfortably, Keith, because he hasn't ridden the Supercross, would you believe, for 12 months.
I can believe that, and he really is going to feel it in this race. 10 laps then, and they're off. The charge is on, and straight away into the lead. 11 is Larry Ward, the superb Larry Ward. He's in hot form.
He's in very hot form, Keith. 4th time out on this Yamaha, and he looks as if he's been riding it all his life, doesn't he?
He certainly does. Jan Guidard, though, the Kawasaki French rider, is in 2nd place. I think number 9. He looks like he's hustling fairly well as well. And he had a good heat too.
He did, yes. And number 27, Denny Stevenson, who we've only seen so far on the deck, has also got himself off to a good start. The 23-year-old Suzuki privateer.
Steve Lamson is in something like 4th place at the moment. So Steve Lamson is in, yes, he is in 4th. That is the number 4. 3 behind him is Donny Schmidt, the man that we think is going to find it a little uncomfortable later on. But at the front is Larry Ward on the Yamaha. Larry Ward really has made that bike work for him all year long. Did you see it over those woods? It looks so smooth.
Well, made it work for him all 4 races long, Keith. I mean, as I say, this is only the 4th time he's ridden it. And the 23-year-old who now lives in Florence, Southern California, who was originally born in Seattle, Washington, looks as if he might be onto a winning streak here. But the bad boy, Ron Lachine, a surprise visitor to Geneva here, number 2, stuffing Donny Schmidt and Pedro Tractor together, and looking pretty loose on that bike.
Loose is right. Well, he certainly looked loose in his feet, didn't he, when he jumped off into the crowd. So Lachine, well, he likes to go and beat them up, doesn't he, Lachine? Dogger Lachine is out there doing the business, and a block pass, the first I've seen for a few weeks of any note.
You've missed them, haven't you?
Yes, I keep looking down, and I miss these block passes, but they really haven't been quite so violent this year as we've seen in the past. And number 3 there, Donny Schmidt, well, feeling the pace already, maybe?
I think so, because he admits that he hasn't ridden a Supercross since the Birmingham NEC in December of '92, so he is rather feeling it. At the front here, we've got both the sort of slightly bad boys of American motocross here with Lachine and Larry Ward, because Ward's something of an enfant terrible, if I may use the expression.
Pedro Tractor is 5'5", he's behind Lachine. Lachine is 2. Well, Pedro Tractor was behind him, and still is, actually. Jan Guidard is number 9, and they're battling away for 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th places at the moment. Off the front, though, remember, is still the man himself, Larry Ward.
Ron Lachine actually won the first ever Geneva Supercross in January 1987, Keith, and he came back and won again in December of '88.
Olivier Lambert down on the floor there, so the Frenchman bites the dust. Been a lot of that going on today, that's for sure. Ron Lachine is in 4th place, it says there, but I'm not absolutely sure that's right.
I was going to say, Keith, he came back in 1988. He only arrived halfway through the evening after missing his flight. Very typical of Ron, but still went on, and they allowed him to start late, and he still won the final.
Denny Stevenson, apparently in 3rd place. Tractor and Lachine battle it out for 4th place at the moment. At the front is still Larry Ward, and he's coming under severe pressure at the moment from Steve Lamson, I can tell you. So, can't wait to get a look at that. Tractor then got that inside line worked out at last. Remember, he was the man that got blown off on that corner a little earlier. Obviously learns things while he goes round.
Certainly they all do, Keith, and I was just saying they're obviously getting a little more accustomed to the track and feeling a little more comfortable on it. There's Larry Ward at the front. Steve Lamson still giving somewhat distant pursuit on the factory Honda.
Bada Mena was 8 that went through there, so Lamson looks like the man that's in 2nd place. Denny Stevenson goes through in 3rd.
Then there's a battle between Tractor and Lachine, although Lachine's now coming under pressure from Guidard, so there's a lot of action in this semi-final.
Yeah, Guidard, the youngster, he's really flying at the moment, and I think Lachine is dropping back into his grip because Tractor is flown away off the front. Well, Tractor is absolutely finding his form, isn't he? Look at this. Pedro Tractor hard into that berm, really hard indeed. That's the 2nd place man that's in front of him, 27, Denny Stevenson, or I should say the 3rd place man, Denny Stevenson. I'll get it right eventually, but I never could count.
Pedro pressing for that third place. He's looking a lot more comfortable, isn't he, the 125 World Motocross Champion, but Lachine suddenly isn't. I think Ron's probably blown it a bit. He said he would feel the pace because he hasn't been doing much racing recently. He's been spending more time in jail than he has on the racetrack.
Well, only 2 laps to go then for the jailbird, and he'll be pleased to see that board up, because 2 laps of a Supercross is something still to behold. And look at this, a real battle on here. It is between Stevenson and Tractor for 3rd place, and at the moment Stevenson holds it, but Tractor is looking for that gap, wherever it might be.
But the 23-year-old Suzuki privateer, Denny Stevenson, is making life very hard for the experienced 25-year-old Dutchman, isn't he?
He certainly is. We're looking then at the battle for 1st place. Larry Ward is number 11. Behind him is 4, Steve Lamson. Steve Lamson, we saw him win a heat earlier on. 1 lap to go, and Lamson is absolutely on the charge now. Lamson is the quickest man out there. Larry Ward is going to get caught napping. I hope he knows where he is.
And Lamson said beforehand in the interview that he was intending to win the semi again.
Oh, brilliantly there, Jack. I jump across you just like Lamson jumped all over Larry Ward. Well, he takes no prisoners. He jumps straight on his front wheel. It's going to be Steve Lamson.
Definitely going to be Steve Lamson.
Steve Lamson then takes the win from Larry Ward. Well, I wonder if old Larry will have much to say about that. There he rolls over the line somewhat... well, I would like
somewhat shell-shocked, I should think, Keith, after that last lap act of Lamson's. That really was a sort of, well, we're going to win this one on bus.
And let's have another look at that. Body language, I think, when Ward crossed the line was quite telling. Steve Lamson then confirmed the race winner. Larry Ward was indeed 2nd. Denny Stevenson did get 3rd over the fighting Pedro Tractor. Ron Lachine was down in 5th. Jan Goddard 6th. And the man who picked up that last qualifying position was Eric Kehoe. But it's this man, Steve Lamson, taking the applause of the crowd, and he deserved it after a race like that. But we caught up with Larry Ward back in the pits.
It was a very difficult battle. It was a good race. I got the whole shot. I was riding good. I haven't ridden my bike in a couple weeks, and I'm just out there trying to get back in shape and ride the best I can. Steve's a good racer, and he passed me and beat me in the semi, but, you know, the main could be a different story.
Another 100%.
Yeah, didn't get such a good start, but Larry was out riding up front pretty good, and I just kind of reeled him in each lap a little bit, and kind of made a block pass there on the...
Did you wait until the end?
Did I wait till the end?
To pass him?
He was riding good. I just slowly, you know, kind of reeled him in, so it was kind of like that's when I was that close to, you know, the only time I could pass him. So I basically tried 100% the whole race, and, you know, inched him in. And
well, I can think of a lot of sports where there would have been some kind of inquiry after a passing manoeuvre like that, but not in Supercross. Well, just in case you've not quite got the drift of things, this is where semi-final B make their way through to the final. Jack, it's going to be a great semi-final again, and there's 2 men on the line here, I think, that are going to be up for the real battle, aren't they?
Elbow to elbow, Keith. I think you'll find number 6, Ron Tichenor, number 7, Doug Dubac.
There it is then, line-up. Cooper, Tichenor, Dubac, Swink, Cliff Palmer, Frederick Viala, Phil Lawrence and Ryan Hughes. Funny spelling that, but they'll get it right eventually. Daniel Obelisco, Colin Dugmore, we saw him eat dirt earlier. Axel Holboot, likewise. Andreas Gunslinger, but it's really Kenstinger. Great spelling there from our graphic. Looking at Guy Cooper, he is the new world champion. He's going to want to go out of this 5-round series with a final win here in Geneva. So we wait to see 5 seconds to the start. 5 seconds to the start of the second semi-final. After this, we'll bring you the final. Will they all make it through the first turn is the big question. Whoops, no.
And Colin Dugmore didn't. He was just nudged clean outside the bales.
7 there then, straight through is Doug Dubac into the lead. Number 7 is Doug Dubac.
And I think Cooper might have got through in second place. He has. So that's the 31-year-old chasing the 30.
Oh, taken out. Taken out by Cliff Palmer there, Jack.
Taken out by his fellow Okie, the sort of man that he's been teaching the ropes to. Well, Cliff, he didn't teach him to do that, I'm sure.
We'll be hanging him by the rope after that one. Well, dear me, that Cliff Palmer really did take poor old Guy Cooper. 1 minute you're on it, negotiating the turn, and away you go. 10 though. Race leader, Brian Swink now in front.
And where does that leave Guy Cooper? With a lot of work to do, I think, is the answer. He's got to get through to the top 7.
Well, if Guy Cooper doesn't make it through in this particular race, he'll have to go through the last chance race, and we'll try and bring you news of that later on. But now, your race leader is Brian Swink. We look back to see where Doug Dubac is. He was the man leading at one stage, but it's now Ryan Hughes in second place, bike 22. Dubac is behind him on bike 7. You're looking at him.
Number 7, Dubac, chasing 2 of the young hotshots who were battling with him in his heat, in fact. Number 10, Brian Swink, the 21-year-old Suzuki factory rider. Number 18, Phil Lawrence, the 22-year-old who comes from Cherry Valley in California. Also, poor old Doug Dubach must be feeling like the old man in the sandwich here.
Well, I was going to say, it's fairly well a young man's sport. If you get to 30, you're fairly well past it, you'd have said. But Guy Cooper's already won this World Championship. Ryan Hughes, well, young impetuosity there finds you on the dirt. So Ryan Hughes showing that youth is not always an advantage.
A little bit impetuous. Perhaps he does it quite often because his career has been plagued by injuries over the past couple of years.
Yeah, but look at the way he got back on it. Ryan Hughes riding through play, and he crashes with Biala. Well, Biala nearly fell over on his own. Oh, Ryan Hughes not happy about that. Biala really looked like he was in a bit of a mess there, and Hughesy, well, he's eaten enough dirt today, isn't he?
He has, and that's number 35, Warren Edwards, coming under fire now from Guy Cooper, which shows just how far back down the field Cooper is. And Cooper slings his Suzuki past number 34, Andreas Gunslinger, one of our favourite spelling mistakes of the night. So Cooper's pressing to get himself back into the top 7 where he needs to be.
Perhaps Ken Stinger's changed his name by deed poll. Number 34 is Ken Stinger, Andreas Ken Stinger. 12 there was Cliff Palmer. Well, you saw him down on the dirt a bit earlier on. 6 going through is Ronnie Tichenor. He's been in a bit of a battle all the way through tonight. It's been a real war throughout this Supercross as Guy Cooper negotiates his way around. So Cooper is trying to pick up the pace. He's got to get in the top 7 to automatically go straight through to the final. He's going to do that with the pace that he's covering at the moment. Cooper is covering the ground quite quickly. He will finish inside the top 7. I think he had 10 laps or so to do it.
Notice he's not showboating too much, Keith. He's taking the short, direct route.
He nearly got took out again there. He nearly got took out into the turn. He nearly got took out on the way out. Hey, Cooper in all sorts of trouble. Iron Man Cooper, as I'm going to call him in this second semi-final, getting into real trouble with Ronnie Tichenor. Tichenor is certainly the villain of the piece here tonight. He is the man that everyone is battling with, and there's going to be a lot of rumblings around the paddock.
Well, remember, Ronnie is the reigning Japanese Supercross champion, Keith. He must have had a pretty hairy 1993 amongst the Japanese riders.
Absolutely, he's wearing the headband, you know, and that's really what's done it. So,
number 10, in the meantime, of course, Brian Swink is riding beautifully at the front, and Doug Dubach has taken back that second place, so the old man's not dead yet.
No, Phil Lawrence is still in third, but this is a battle where Guy Cooper trying to stay out of trouble. Biala, we've already seen him on the floor. He's already in a battle. Tichenor is number 6. He's a man that's been on the deck several times over, and somehow poor old Guy Cooper, and I mean it most affectionately, has got to try and get past these two.
And look at the way that Biala's riding. Does Fred know where he's going next?
They touched each other there. Well, I think he did, but I wonder whether Cooper did as well at that point. It was a bit of 6 of one and half a dozen of the other. But Guy Cooper better go very steady. He might have won a world championship, but he won't want to do it in plaster.
Exactly, and he would like to reach the final with a chance of going out with a win. He only won the first round in Sweden, of course. He's scored consistently, but hasn't won since.
2 fourths, 2 fifths, and Guy Cooper going for a win tonight, getting his foot down, getting the power down. So Cooper trying very hard, goes through on Biala, so he's past Biala now. He's into a good position as Biala bites back. Well, that young man is not a chap that likes being passed, is he really?
He's not. He's learnt a lot of lessons, of course, while he's been racing in the States at the beginning of 1993. He won the French 125 Supercross Championship this year, Keith, but these are 250cc machines. They're obviously biting him a bit hard.
Swink, Dubach there, number 7. Lawrence is number 18. That's your top 3, just gone through. Number 10 is your race leader, Brian Swink. So Swink really putting up a fine performance here. He's not having it all his own way. Dubach is behind him. Lawrence is behind him. Swinky then showboating already over the jumps. Oh, superb. I do like to see these men. They really are entertainers par excellence. There it is. Brian Swink on the Suzuki takes the race win, the second semi-final, and it was a great ride.
A great haircut too, Keith. Well done, that man.
Well done, that man, indeed. But Guy Cooper gets himself then through to a final position. The crowd appreciate the efforts of everybody, but Brian Swink really was the man showboating. Confirmed results then of the second semi. I like this. Swink, Dubach, Lawrence, Tichenor, Cooper, Biala, Holvoot. Join us for the final in just a few moments.
You're watching Sky Sports. bravo Figaro, bravo bravissimo, bravo Figaro, bravo bravissimo, a te fortuna.
Welcome back, and as you can see, the crowd here in Geneva are going to celebrate this final in a style all of their own, and this is how they're going to line up. Guy Cooper, the new Supercross world champion, Ron Lechine, Donny Schmidt, Steve Lamson, Pedro Tractor, Ron Tichenor, Doug Dubac, Juan Guidard, Brian Swink, Larry Ward, Cliff Palmer, Frederick Viala, Eric Kehoe, Phil Lawrence, Denny Stevenson and Axel Holvoot. It's going to be a final to remember for the final race in the World Supercross Championship here at Geneva.
And look at that crowd. Number 7, Doug Dubac. Number 10, Brian Swink. Number 11, Larry Ward. 4, Steve Lamson. 27, Denny Stevenson. Number 5, Pedro Tractor. 6, that man Tichenor. 2, Lechine. 1, Cooper. Number 9 and number 14, the 2 Frenchmen, Guidard and Vial. And it's really a hell of a lineup, Keith.
It certainly is, and I'm already breaking out into a sweat. 5 seconds down, and look at that, Cooper right over the gate. Look at the concentration on his face. What's that clutch hand? Who's going to be the first into the first turn? And Cooper got a flyer, but it was for Lamson. Absolutely off the line, like someone set fire to his rear end. Lamson then from 11. 11 is Larry Ward. Who's that in that?
And Dubac, Guidard and Palmer get into a horrible mess over the whoops. Oh, that's a tragedy for them, Keith. I don't think they'll be able to make it back from there.
Well, I think that's a mark of what this race is going to be like. 16 laps is the race distance, and it's going to be a very tiring, very tough 16 laps. And already, Lamson and Ward are doing battle.
And Ward's got him underneath. What a brilliant piece of riding. Larry likes to get into the front and get as big a lead as he can early on, Keith. He's very hot off the start.
If you're going to get him, you might as well get him underneath and take advantage of him as much as you can. Larry Ward then goes straight through, but look at the lineup of runners in. Guy Cooper, a long, long way back there in midfield at the moment. He's really going to have to get flying.
So Larry Ward leading Lamson, number 2 Lechine, 27 Denny Stevenson. And Cooper with a lot of work to do there, just ahead of Pedro Tractor if he's going to make it to the front.
Yellow flags out there, yellow flags out. Is Brian Swink down? Well, we've seen the winner of the second semi-final on the deck, and that has effectively blown his chances of winning this final. Well, he's not going to be happy about that.
He's not, but Larry Ward's a happy man at the moment. Lamson, Lechine, look at those whoops. They really are testing. And number 1 guy,
oh, dear me, Phil Lawrence.
The 22-year-old from Cherry Valley didn't mean to be doing that at the end of the whoops. I think he's hurt his wrist a bit. He's felt that.
A photographer there getting a scoop. He couldn't have been closer, and Steve Lamson in big trouble as well. Well, everybody, Ron Lechine right next to him. Lamson and Lechine do battle, and Lamson very nearly fell off.
And Lamson recovered well from that, Keith. He's such a tidy rider. It's a surprise to see him get out of shape like that.
Oh, 16 laps of this is going to be something to behold indeed, and certainly these men are giving it their all very early in the race, and I've got to wonder how fit they are and whether they're going to last the distance. It's going to be really hang on at the end. And there it, Ron Lechine is in the side of the bridge as Guy Cooper goes through. Number 1, Guy Cooper is through. So is number 6. That's Ronnie Tichenor. But it was Lechine who hit the inside of the bridge. What drama.
And that has all put Guy Cooper up to 4th place ahead of Tichenor as Frederick Vial, the Frenchman, pulls out.
Oh, Viala is out of the race, and he's not had a very happy time in this final. Look at Cooper. Cooper absolutely on the charge now. Denny Stevenson is the man in his sight. Cooper riding like a man possessed and looking every bit of Supercross world champion as he rides round the outside almost to Denny Stevenson. They are locked handlebar to handlebar. Stevenson has never expected a battle like this from Guy Cooper, but he's certainly got one on his hands here. And Cooper goes through. Brilliant stuff. Up the inside. Guy Cooper goes through on Denny Stevenson into 3rd place.
Wow. And the crowd are absolutely up on their feet, Keith. Absolutely giving it everything. Cooper's now through to 3rd place, and they can see that he's visibly closing on Lamson. They might even be able to win this one.
Tichenor has followed him through. Tichenor is now in 4th. We're looking at your race leader, Larry Ward. Well, the Yamaha rider, Larry Ward. Look how close Lamson is as well. These riders, as Tichenor and Stevenson come together there, I can hardly speak this race as fast as it's happening. There's drama all around this track. We're looking now at 125 world champ Pedro Tractor. Well, that's fairly static stuff, really, even though it's a great rider we're watching.
He's got ahead of Denny Stevenson, so he's obviously coming through the field well himself. But look at Cooper attacking Lamson now.
Lamson on the whoops, and Lamson slightly out of control. Guy Cooper looking at the inside line, up the berm, over the start and finish line. Cooper higher than Lamson. Well, superb stuff there.
He's got over his head, I think you could call that, Keith. Look at the way Cooper's going. That puts him through to 2nd place, and he's in sight of Larry Ward, the leader.
Guy Cooper then, Guy Cooper absolutely on the front wheel. Lamson drives through. Guy Cooper, after a superb charge, really gets it completely wrong, and I can't imagine what he did wrong there.
I think he probably hit neutral, Keith. I really think he probably hit neutral because the bike virtually stopped on him right at the end of that short whoop section. What a tragedy for him and what a tragedy for the crowd.
Let's take another look at it. His front wheel looked to me like it went straight in the middle of the dip there, so you might well have been right. Guy Cooper then really out of sorts there, drops in the middle of the heap and flies over the handlebars. Ron Tichenor is in third place. Lamson is still in second place. This man, Larry Ward, is off the front. But what is Guy Cooper capable of now? We've seen him come from a long, long way back. He's been riding like the true world champion that we now know him to be after tonight. And really, he's going to go out with a bang, one way or another.
And I think Larry Ward's going to do the same, Keith, because we're on the last lap, and that victory that eluded him by inches in Gothenburg looks as if it's going to be his here in Geneva tonight.
Larry Ward then, your race leader, just one more turn to do. It's going to be Larry Ward that takes the race win. Steve Lamson should be somewhere in second place. Ronnie Tichenor, I think, is going to be third. Yes, he is. There he goes through. Fourth should be Guy Cooper, managing to limp across the line. We look to see about Guy Cooper, but Larry Ward is the race winner tonight. Larry Ward then takes it here in Geneva, and what a great race here for all of the crowd here. It has been a superb Supercross to the style that we've all been used to in the past, but really the best one out of the five, I think. What do you think, Jack?
I think probably you're right, Keith, and a great victory for Larry Ward there ahead of Steve Lamson. Ronnie Tichenor getting third place. Guy Cooper recovering brilliantly for fourth ahead of the steady Pedro Tractor in fifth. And in sixth place we have Eric Kehoe, the 29-year-old veteran, ahead of Cliff Palmer, Denny Stevenson fading downfield, Jan Goodar, and in 10th place Doug Duback.
Larry Ward won tonight's battle and the crowd appreciate it, but the war was won by Guy Cooper. He takes the applause of the vast crowd here, and he'll settle down now to some very serious celebrations.
Yes, Keith, I think he might have a beer or two after that.
And you can see from that picture that he's going to get a bit of help from a few people as well. So, while we take a quick opportunity to look at the style of the new Supercross World Champion, preparations are underway to present him to the Swiss fans.
Guy Cooper, et je vais vous demander d'acclamer très fort l'Américain, champion du monde, Guy Cooper.
Champion of the world, Guy Cooper, 1993 World Supercross champion.
What a star, the 31-year-old from Oklahoma, who's threatening to go into retirement now, but what a way to go out, Keith.
He's going to remember this night for the rest of his life. He's never won a European championship of any kind, and let alone a world championship out here in Europe. So celebrations start all around the stadium here in Geneva. The Swiss know how to celebrate, and so, believe me, the Supercross riders.
Yes, I think that they're probably enjoying themselves. I think a retirement, a swift retirement to the bar will be in order after they finish this, because this is thirsty work, as you can see.
Let's take a minute then to watch the great Guy Airtime Cooper giving us just a bit of a demonstration. In the World Supercross Championship look like this. Guy Cooper won in Sweden and took 2 fourths and 2 fifth places to lift the championship. Greg Alberton hang on to second from Larry Ward. Steve Lamson and Darrell King ended up in 4th and 5th. Reigning 125 world champ Pedro Tractor is 6th, Cliff Palmer 7th, Jimmy Gaddis 8th, and joint 9th goes to 3 race winners, Jeff Stanton, the great, Jeremy McGrath and Stefan Abert. They're joined by Juan Guidard, who picked up points in 2 rounds. Mike LaRocco was 13th and Miska Aaltonen 14th. Well, that's it for this World Championship. So from me, Keith Ewan, my co-commentator Jack Bernicle and all of the team at Sky Sports, it's goodbye. And we'll leave the last word to the new world champ, Guy Cooper.
I'm glad it's over, but I enjoyed it.